Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 394. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez,
What's up, people? How's it going?
Carlos Romero,
Yo, yo, yo.
Brett Murdoch,
What up?
and Brian Monjoma.
What up, what up, what up?
All right, man, back with another one. No Chris action. He is feeling out of it. He needs to recoup. He needs to initiate the Odin sleep. And Adam may or may not join us. Apparently, he's trying to... I don't know if we could say what he's doing on there, but he's doing some stuff with Steam Deck, and it's taking longer than expected. And he always does this before the show. It's like, guy, come on, you know?
He's letting off some steam, Bennett.
Yeah, he's using Steam Deck for its intended purpose, and apparently he's taking up a lot of bandwidth, and he can't join us right now. So we'll see what happens. But again, it's like,
Oh, dude, he's choking out his own bandwidth. That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think you can kind of talk about it. Like I'll say this: I read a really good post from somebody dunking on the Steam Deck the other day as a PC user.
Yeah,
they were just saying like as somebody who's modded their Xbox and jailbroke their Vita and everything like that. They were super disappointed. It only took them 20 minutes to get into the Steam Deck and install everything. So now they have to play games instead of fucking with their system for 2 days.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, because God forbid you spend less time fucking around and actually playing games.
I play some games.
No, that's
it's insane. Like I was telling somebody today, I was like, this thing did everything that the Switch and the Vita both promised to do and didn't promise to do in terms of like when you could jailbreak your Vita, you could do all that shit plus everything the Vita was supposed to do.
Look,
plus everything the Switch was supposed to do.
I've said the Switch and the Vita walked so the Steam Deck could run because it is great.
Yeah,
it's a marvel technology. We actually have some Steam questions which we'll answer later on tonight. But let's get into it, man. We'll start with the most controversial question of the day, which is something that happened. When the fuck? It was on Thursday that all this nonsense happened with The Last of Us, right? And the ongoing conversation that you people just need to accept will be going on for the rest of this generation. Our game's worth $70. So the first question here, which is about that, is from our boy Kishak. So he goes, when will gamers finally accept the fact that their precious video games are not immune to the effects of inflation? Everything else over the last 16 years has gone up in price, but when it comes to video games, all of a sudden, gamers become offended at the thought. Don't come up to me and say that games shouldn't cost $70, but in the same breath, buy a deluxe or collector's edition of a game that costs more than $70. No one, I hope no one on this panel is in the right mind would actually think in the next 50 years games will never go up in price, or else I'm going to have an aneurysm. Oh man, tell me how you really feel, bro. Now, before we go on, Kishak, if you have been listening to the show, I don't know how long you've been listening to the show, but if you have been listening to the Throwdown for a fair amount of time, I have personally said that I'm surprised games didn't go up to $70 last generation, because they've been $60 for like almost 20 years, which is kind of unheard of. Everything else has gone up, and I don't want to. I mean, remember in the 90s? That games cost $70, $80 in 90s money.
In the 90s, games cost $90.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, and then I mean, I guess in the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 1 generation and the PlayStation 2 generation, that was the $50 range.
That's when the games went $50 because they were on CDs, right? And then they kind of went up to $60, stayed there, and now we're getting some $70 games, right? So obviously, this is a big point of contention for some people. Like I said, I don't really mind games costing that much, but I do understand where people are coming from, because especially now with the recession going on, let's just be honest, we're in a fucking recession now, I understand people trying to watch where their money goes, but in general, I personally don't have a problem with it. But I understand where people are coming from. What about the rest of you guys?
Yeah, I agree with what Tony mentioned. Games, I think, should have gone up in price probably years ago, especially since games are getting more costly to make. I mean, like everything else, we and it's not exclusive to gaming. I mean, we talk about historical gas prices. We talk about historical, prices on phones, on cell phones. We talk about historical prices in fast food items. You know, the dollar menu isn't a dollar anymore.
You know,
The dollar store hardly is a dollar anymore. So with inflation comes, inflated prices for everything, not just video games, not just food or anything else.
dollar
It's
pizza
everything.
ain't dollar pizza no more.
It's not a. It's not.
Nah,
a,
man,
those-
you still can go to Two Brothers and get a drink and a pizza for for $2.
$2 though, you know.
But
But
see-
go ahead. But again, and I think I know where Brett's going to go with this. Some of these things may not be justified to cost $70, and there's something else I want to bring up. But go ahead, Brett.
I was just gonna say there's other ways for things to go up in cost. I'm sure you guys have heard of shrinkflation before, right?
Shrinkflation. I know stagflation. I know what that is.
Shrinkflation is where they're slowly cutting down like serving sizes of food while keeping the bag of chips the same price, right?
Right,
Like
I
that is-
noticed this the other day when I was younger. I'm not even talking about fuck young. I'm talking about even 5 years ago. Nathan's hot dogs were longer than they used to be, and I'm looking at it like, what the fuck happened to these hot dogs? They're all
dude, everything
small,
is smaller.
you know.
Bags of chips, candy bars,
Yeah.
hot
Yeah,
dogs.
there's more air inside of those bags than
You know.
Yeah,
chips.
exactly.
yeah.
And that's their way of kind of like giving you less content for the same money.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the problem that a lot of people have, myself included right now, is it's not like you haven't been getting your pound of flesh, right? There's two prongs, and I'll go on the easy one first. One,
Uh-oh.
it doesn't need to cost $70. You're selling the same game cross-generation on your previous system for $60. It's the same game. You guys developed them together.
Is this question exclusively to The Last of Us, or
No,
or
I want to
general?
I want to make it in general. I don't want to make it just for one specific game. Although obviously you're free to bring up specific examples if you want. Because I don't think the $70 game narrative should fit every game. Some games are exceptional. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, go on.
Gotcha.
What was I saying? Just games are already getting more expensive in their own way. Hold on, I almost lost my train of thought. That was it. The game doesn't need to cost $70. It costs $60 elsewhere. You're charging $60 for it over here. It's not like you had a different team develop it for the PS5 and that cost you a shitload more money. You're simply charging more money because you can, right? So establishing that, moving forward to, in the day and age of season passes and microtransactions, we're already paying more for video games than we ever have before.
I was just go ahead, because I gotta jump on that. But finish your thought. What's up?
I'd be happy to pay $70 if they cut all that shit out and gave us a full and complete game on release. But that is not the world that we live in anymore. So now we're talking about $70 plus your season pass, plus any microtransactions. You're honestly not going to be able to afford all of the content in this game. It's going to cost you hundreds of dollars to get all the content in this game. And I think that's the conversation that kind of needs to be had, right? When we're talking about Diablo and whatnot, and it costing thousands of dollars to get everything in the game, and how things are now actually locked behind walls, right? This is literal gatekeeping from content. And we seem fine with that. We're sitting here, we're like, yeah, I mean, that's fine if I don't need all the content, and I'll pay for the stuff that I want to, and here's 10 more extra dollars for the game. Like, how far over do you want to bend over for these companies? And I realize this shit costs more money, but again, you're already getting your pound of flesh, right? So choose whether you want to go, again, if you come out and you say, no microtransactions, no DLC, 100% of the game, yours, release day, done. Cool. I don't think we have an issue, but it's the both that I think piss a lot of people off, because you feel like you're getting fucked coming and going.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up that point, because you could reasonably argue, actually factually argue, that games actually have cost more than $70 for a while. They actually kind of cost $120 if you factor in, like you said, season passes, DLC, microtransactions, all that stuff. Games actually kind of cost $120, right? But you're right. If the games were complete and they were $70, I think there would be less complaining. You know what I'm saying? Adam, what's your thoughts on $70 games? Do you think they're worth it?
Nope.
In no cases.
There's no reason. There's no reason. They're making their money, like you said. They're making their money on all these other versions because they're not going to stop. That's the thing. People think, oh well, all right, you jump to $70 and then everything's there, right? No, it's going to be $70 plus the season passes or the battle passes or whatever bullshit pass they want to come up with, just to get you to buy in. And then of course there's always going to be cosmetics and all these other things that we could always argue should be in there or shouldn't be in. Oh, there's always something. We get it. We get it. They need to make money. They need to keep these developers on staff. You can't just say, all right, we pushed out the game. Now what? We'll keep Jimmy, you, everybody else. Peace. That's all we need. No, they need jobs and need to stay employed. So I get that, but charging $70 when you're still nickel and diming through all the other processes is pointless. It's just pointless. There's no reason unless they plan on voiding out the other options, and we know they're not. And that's why I laugh at people like, well, they deserve to get paid. I was like, yeah, you're right, and they are, because there's the standard, there's a deluxe, there's a collector's, there's a legendary, there's an ultimate. They make up any of the damn.
You need a fucking
version.
spreadsheet to cover this.
We've done it. Call of Duty. Remember, Call of Duty had like 4 or 5 different ones. What was it? And then there was also
Sonic Origins. Remember?
Sonic, Red Dead Redemption had ones where certain items were exclusive to certain stores. Right? They were like, oh yeah, I want this with this type of horse. Oh well, you got to go to GameStop. I want this one. Oh, we got to go here. It's like there's no reason for it. There's no reason for it. And especially if they know that they're gonna have all these other ways of generating revenue in place from that same game. So if they know there's microtransactions, there's battle passes, season passes, map, whatever they want, but there's other ways there will be microtransactions, then there's no reason. There's no reason.
Yeah, I mean it's all subjective at the end of the day, but I do believe that we have to take it as a case by case basis because, how everyone's mentioning, a lot of different games have a lot of different quirks that try to get steal revenue from the consumers. Like some have like mass microtransactions, others have smaller games, but hyped up DLC a year after the game comes out. But for a game like, let me say, the new Spider-Man game, let's say Spider-Man 2, when that comes out, just looking at the track record, hoping that track record continues, then I would say that's a worthwhile $70 game. But if they release Spider-Man 2, Miles Morales 2, then I'm like, nah, that's probably, and it comes out like a year after and it comes out like a year and a half after the Spider-Man 2 comes out. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's going to be like a $40 game. Because I doubt it's going to be like a complete experience.
I heard that Dose like fucking Miles Morales. Dose.
Oh, he was the worst. That was
Dose.
That was the worst. It was like, he only took 3 weeks of Spanish.
Yo quiero, mommy.
Exactly. That made no sense.
Yo quiero arroz. Abuela. Oh,
yeah,
man.
so I feel like it's a case by case basis with all the games, because we live in a world where there's a lot of free to play games. There's a lot of free to play games, and then there's a world where we have a hybrid. We have Halo Infinite that you have to pay for the campaign, but if you want to play the multiplayer, it's free to play. And
wait,
it's a mess.
For Halo, I don't think I heard you. For Halo Infinite, you say it was hybrid or bullshit?
Oh, it's more like bullshit, but they do have those 2 plans, even though they don't have features that should come with the game. So that game's definitely not worth $70 to me, of course, and probably to a lot of others.
Para me,
mommy.
Para me, mommy.
Para me.
Oh man. Let's stop before we get ahead, man. We got a Mexican name more, by the way, but anyway. But yeah, okay. Anyway, Brian, it's $70. Go ahead, bro.
Hell no. It is completely ridiculous. Just to touch on a bunch of points being made. Firstly, this is one of the weirdest economies ever, where somehow there's more products, i.e., there's more games, but yet the price is going up. How does that make sense? That bends most of the rules of economy. The whole point that stuff goes up is that there's not enough demand of it. We've seen this with so many things, but yet with games, there's more games coming out than ever before, but yet the price is going up.
That
So,
doesn't
to me-
apply to game movies either. There's a lot of movies and they're always the same price. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that analogy works for games. Like there's more games. So
Yeah,
games
this
cost
is
more.
that's
This is
more of a
different.
supply and demand
not a-
kind of.
Yeah.
It's not an analogy; it's the truth. Like,
But
there are
that
more
doesn't
games.
apply to it. No, you're right. There are more games, but that doesn't apply to electronics necessarily. Understand? Or at least video games.
No, digital.
Digital. It doesn't really apply, Brian, because digital is just everywhere. You know. Although I do agree. Like,
but then
if
that
there's
makes
no
it
brick and-
worse.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because if there's no brick and mortar
You know?
physical, yeah. But I'm just saying that specific things like, hey, there's more of it. It should be cheaper. That doesn't really work here. You know.
Well, it's just the idea, like, so again, I just don't see where this price increase is coming from. Like, I can't identify the sources for why these prices are going up. Well, I kind of can, but it just does not make sense to me that all these prices are going up for what reason. Again, as Brett says, like, the same game comes out on two different platforms and it's more expensive on one than the other. 170, 160. How does that make
Well,
sense? Like,
There's it.
what do they put in that game that is vastly different that they can justify at the $10?
I think it's pretty simple. It's someone had the balls to raise up the price, and everyone else followed. That's pretty much
That's
how
it.
it works.
That's it. And then they'll
Let's
come
just be
up
honest. Who was the main one driving up prices for $70?
Sony.
and then,
Sony.
And then not only that, they'll say, "Oh well, there's certain gear sets that you can't get through this method, or you can't just find in the game, and so this is only tied to this pack." We saw a lot of that with Valhalla. A lot of these gear sets.
Actually, I kind of feel like Brian touched on something. Let me ask you guys point blank. Can anybody tell me why this game is $70 without referencing the economy or inflation?
Oh, because for Sony's being greedy.
No, no.
Let's just
So
be
you're
real
saying-
here, because they know motherfuckers will pay that price. Let's
No,
just-
Are
I
you talking
know,
about
but-
the consumer? Or are you talking about the companies that sell it for $30-$70? Like, is it
I'm
justified
talking
for the
about
consumer?
Why is this game $10 more? What makes this game $10 more expensive?
Because they're
because
charging
it was-
$10 more.
yeah.
Because it was built from the ground up from PlayStation 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they-
there's no exact science to this. Like, I think we're trying to overanalyze it.
No, I'm pointing out that there's a lack of exact science, right? Like, the inability to answer that question means conclusively, there's no reason this game is $10 more. There's nothing more in this game that costs more money, like Brian said, right? Like, so you can conclusively say there's no reason for it to.
Well, I do think there's a reason, and it's inflation. Everything goes up in price with
But,
They
okay,
were going to go up before
Yeah,
this.
but
though.
then why is the other one 60?
what's the other one?
The other version,
There is no other
PS4 version.
There is no PS4 version.
Okay, let's not say. I'm not talking about Last of Us here. I'm talking about some of the
But you
games.
were
that have
talking
come out.
about The Last of
That's what he
Us.
said. Yeah, I thought it was.
You said The Last of Us. So are you changing it, Brett? What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like in terms of like, not necessarily this game, but the games that have come out that have been on PS4 and PS5, and they're charging 60 for one and 70 for the
Oh,
other.
All right.
that's simple. That's just
Graphical
just
upgrades, yeah.
yeah. That's just saying, oh, we're selling a better version of the title, so it's going to cost more. It's nothing more than that. They could sell it at both at 60, and it's not going to really change much. But what the bottom line is, they're going to try to make as much money as they can.
No, I know that, and I'm really putting a pin in that because I'm having trouble understanding why people are coming to bat for this. Because at the end of the day, we're saying Sony decided to charge you $10 more because they decided to charge you $10 more. Deal with it. And then we have people coming up and stepping out of the woodwork and being like, "Well, I feel like that's fair because blank." Like,
Well, like I mentioned earlier, it's all subjective. I mean, I would have said if with the knowledge I have now, and we go back, to the beginning of this year, and you tell me that Elden Ring is going to cost $80, I would not even question buying
I don't
this
give a
game.
shit.
$100, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's all it's all subjective at the end of the day, and
yes.
what their companies are trying to do is they're trying to see how much they can squeeze off of people, and not be a huge uproar.
Yeah, and I understand that this is a case-by-case basis and that there are going to be outliers, but we are talking about an industry standard. We're talking about a watermark here that changes as the prices do. Does that make sense?
No, sure, I understand, but I mean, just think about it. What's more egregious, selling God of War Ragnarok for $70, or selling Brian of Isaac or whatever that game's called for $60 after it's been out for several years?
Nintendo.
They're both equally as bad. That's the
Equally?
problem. Like, yeah.
Equally?
Yeah.
Yes, they're both equally as bad.
Brian of
because-
Isaac was like
No,
$10
let
on
me
Steam.
explain. Let me explain. Let me explain. They're both equally as bad because they both open the door for that type of monetization. And that's why they're bad. It's not the price point that's bad in my eyes. It's the fact that they both say like, "Hey, this is acceptable." That is what's bad about it.
But the price has to go up eventually. Like, it's not going to stay $60 till
It
you're
has.
dead.
It has.
It doesn't have to go up. No, even if we look at it from the point of, okay, let's quote unquote make a game or put ourselves in the game dev's shoes. Like, okay, fine. There are areas where they don't have to spend the costs that they do to make the game, and there's so many areas that's fucking disgusting. Okay, firstly, let's look at the voice actors. They spend God knows how much like recruiting like these A-list celebs to do voiceovers for stuff that you don't even notice. And how much does that cost? I have no idea, but it's probably a lot more than just hiring some random person who's fairly decent, but no one knows of him. Like, not every game needs to have Nolan North in the game.
I will say this, and this is from the industry standpoint. Actually, it's weird, but getting somebody like a well-known voice actor in a lot of cases can be more expensive than getting somebody like, like a well-known actor. Because a lot of times what happens is what you're paying for when it comes to an actor, a well-known actor, you're paying for their look and their, and their voice, their time. So, if you do it correctly, you could probably hire somebody like a Norman Reedus, and he'd probably be cheaper than getting like somebody like one of the main actors. It's something that we've had on shows that I worked on where we've had a bunch of famous guest stars on, where you had the guest star was actually who's well known was way more expensive than the established voice actor.
Even then, like, yeah, just don't hire Nolan North for everything, but yet somehow he is in everything. It makes no sense. And then the other thing that really irks me is the marketing budgets. Like, why is it so incredibly high? Like, take Destiny. That game was $500 million to make. Half of it was the game, and the other half was just marketing. And that's it. It's like, does it really need to be that high? And plus, why should I foot the bill for your extremely high costs of doing everything? That says to me that the process itself is inefficient and it should be made a lot better. It sounds like there's just a bunch of waste going on there that, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't need to be there. So even with all these things in consideration, I don't think that game development should cost as much as it does. And hence why I don't like this argument of like, oh yeah, games cost more to make. No. Is it that games actually cost more to make, or are people making games cost more to make? The two things are very different.
They cost more to make because it costs more to hire the people. People aren't making.
Yeah.
People don't make as much money back then as they do now. It's that's how, especially with high level skill sets like developing, like directing, and all this stuff. It costs a lot more than it did back in the 90s. In the 90s, prices were even higher. So, it's just I feel like
Bro, you
Destiny.
You guys keep saying prices were higher in the 90s. What the hell are you talking about?
Games literally cost $90 back then, and in 90s money.
Some outlier games would cost more. Most of the time, they cost $40-$50.
No, they didn't. Generally, they were like $60.
It cost like $70 for the Super NES one. I remember that shit.
Yeah, but even then, you know what, Brett? Let's go with your premise. Games cost $50, right? That's $50 in 1990s money.
No, I know, but again, you guys are talking under the assumption that these games aren't already making record profits.
Well, they
right?
are.
Like you talk about, like, oh, games are they're more expensive.
Yeah, there's that too.
Year after year after year, they're making record profits. They're making more money, way more money now than they did back then, and they're charging you more even while they're making more. They're like, we made record profits last year. Now we're going to charge you $10 more.
But I don't understand sort of like the outlash towards like, or the backlash towards the price itself. You know, yeah, Destiny cost $500 million. So was it worth $60? Because
no, but you already sold us on this with microtransactions and DLC. Like this was a hill that we already fought you on, and you won. And when you did, you said, this is why the market in general, and this is more for like PC gamers for those part, but like, you said that this was it. You said that this is how games were going to get more money. You said it was because inflation. Fine. I guess this is just going to happen. It's just going to be a thing. Games are going to cost more. And now they raise the price, and they're like, well, games are just going to cost more. Like, bitch, that's why I agreed to season passes.
Fallout 3 is one of the best games ever made. It cost $60 and it had a whole bunch of DLCs. So,
again, what is the point of pointing out exceptions? To, like, there are exceptional games.
Well, the exceptions are the games that we play.
Let me finish. There are exceptional games that are going to always be worth more than $70. But the problem is, when you standardize this, shitty games are also going to cost $70. And that's the problem. I have no problem paying $80 or $100 for Fallout or Elden Ring or any of my other seriously favorite games. That's why I buy the collector's editions, right? But I do have a problem for the next Infamous costing $70, but I don't know if it's going to be a piece of shit or not. I already spend $60 because I get hoodwinked by things. They're trying to release shitty, broken games on me, or misrepresent themselves in advertising. It's already cost me $60 to take a chance. Now they want to get me for $10 more up front before I even know if I like the game, while they're already bleeding me at the back end.
You can get hoodwinked at $20, at $30, at $50, at $60. You can get hoodwinked at any price. The thing is, we're fucking grizzled veterans in this bullshit, and we know what type of games we're gonna get, and we're not gonna just buy any game that comes out. We can still get hoodwinked. I got hoodwinked by fucking Cyberpunk. Yeah. You know, it's CD Projekt Red here, and it's all and still, we got to figure out ways to figure out what type of games we're into, what type of experiences we want to buy. And if it's not worth it, we judge that company accordingly for the future, and we make a tangent. If not, okay, Elden Ring's gonna come out. Elden Ring 2 is gonna come out. It's $70. Oh, it's going up $10 in price, but I fucking love Miyazaki games. I love Soulsborne games, so I'm gonna buy it. Oh, so all the fucking franchise that I love and all the iterations that I love, I paid $10 more for a better game. And I love that game too. What a surprise! And if you don't, then you course correct. Like you act like people are just willy-nilly buying games every day. Like, oh, I'm gonna buy this game at 70, this game at 70, this game at 70.
There's a video game drought right now. Some people buy fucking almost every video game that comes out because they're hungry for new content.
Who's buying all the games?
Man, I am.
What games are you buying? There's nothing out.
That's what I'm fucking saying. When nothing comes out, I end up buying almost 80% of new fucking releases because there's no content.
Well, actually, a lot of games are coming out, and I guarantee you, most of them, if not the overwhelming majority, aren't even $70. But you're not buying them because you're waiting for the $70 games to come out.
No, what are you talking about?
There's a bunch of games that come out every year that are not worth $70.
I'm not the PlayStation whore here. I'm not the one that's going to pay $70 for every single first-party thing that comes out on PlayStation. I'm not the one waiting for $70.
No, you buy all these games. I don't.
You just said you buy every game now.
I said I end up buying like 80% of games, but that doesn't mean that I'm buying the $70 games. We're almost exclusively talking about Sony first-party exclusives when we're talking about the $70 crowd. Right? So when you say I'm not buying the $60 games, I'm buying the $70 games. No, I'm not buying all of Sony shit. I'm playing shit like Biomutant too.
No, what I'm saying is, you said there's a video game drought, and I said no, there isn't. There's a video game drought for $70 AAA games, but when it comes to just a $40 game, a $20 game, a free to play game, all these other types of games, they come out all the time.
Are we not talking all the time about how we're getting less and less releases less frequently on this. Like, we've talked about this before.
Big AAA releases, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But not games in general. So if there's a bunch of $20 experiences that you can enjoy at any time.
I'm not talking about indie games, right? I'm talking about, there are other big AAA games that aren't just produced by Sony, man. Dying Light 2 just came out, and I just got hoodwinked on that shit.
That had a lot of problems, that fucking game. I wish it was good.
Yeah, well then for the next time, don't be like, okay, I'm not gonna pay full price for that because I don't want to get hoodwinked again. That's when they suffer for releasing a dumbass game.
Yeah. Next time when they release another game in 5 years, I'll get them then.
Well, you're not gonna be spending any more money on them, so you can spend it on something else.
Yeah, but my whole point in me playing that game, like, that's not a $70 game. Like, why does this argument always go towards, like, well, the best games deserve more than $70, and they're the only ones that are going to be $70? Like, what makes you think that those are going to be the only games that end up being $70? What makes you think that this is the end? That this isn't a slippery slope? That they're just going to charge only $10 for their big first-party exclusives that are guaranteed to be awesome, and that's totally not going to bleed into the rest of the industry?
Well, no one said that yet,
I mean, that's kind of the assumption that we're working with here when we're talking about only good games at the $70 games. So, and they're the games that you're going to enjoy. So, what's the big deal?
Yeah, so I've never heard anyone make that argument before.
He just did.
What's the price of the Order 1886 when it came out?
60, I believe.
It was $60, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got hoodwinked because I don't think that game was $60. That game was worth $30.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter if I got hoodwinked by 70 or 60. I still got hoodwinked. And if it cost $50, I still would have gotten hoodwinked. If it still cost $40, I still would have gotten hoodwinked.
I understand that. I'm not even talking about that, man. Like, let's rewind a little bit, right? Like, you were saying that only the big games, only the good games are going to cost $70. Is that right?
No.
Okay.
I said people who think they can get away with selling a game at $70 are going to sell it at $70.
Yeah.
People are going to sell a game at $40 that think they can get away with $40, and sometimes the people that buy it get hoodwinked. It could be at any price. It's not $70 is not the magic number.
No, I know what. I don't know where. Like, we got off track on that. Let's just forget the whole hoodwink thing because that's honestly not fucking important.
Yeah. By the way, I hate to do this, but the guys in the chat are getting kind of ornery about this, so we should probably move on.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, man. Moving on here. One subset. His first question is, rumors suggest we're going in a completely different field right now. Rumors suggest Assassin's Creed Rift has been delayed. Should Ubisoft pause this game's development? First of all, I didn't even know what the fuck Assassin's Creed Rift was until I read this question. Has anybody heard of this game?
It's the rumor for the next ones, and if they haven't announced anything, there's no reason for them to say anything. Because it's not like, oh, we announced it and now it's delayed. They don't have to say anything because nothing's been promised. It's all leaked.
Yeah. So that's my general thing. I'm like, okay, if this game, because again, I've never even heard of this game until this question. I'm like, because I thought the next game was going to be called Assassin's Creed Infinite, that big multiplayer.
That's another one. That's another one. Apparently, there's like two of them.
So yeah, like you can't really pause something that's hasn't been formally announced. Yeah. So. All right,
but you can totally pause development of something that hasn't been announced.
No, but I guess he wants to know, like, Assassin's Creed, like they were like, we're gonna take a year to hiatus. He's like, should they take another year? Sure.
Yes. No.
Why not?
No.
They might be, and we don't even know. They might be because they haven't said anything. So
that's one of those. I will definitively say yes. They need to delay any Assassin's Creed content another year after the clusterfuck dumpster fire that is Valhalla and all of its fucking add-on content.
Ironically enough, I read about this game. This was supposed to be Valhalla content. I got so big, they're like, hey, let's just make it its own game. So it's still Valhalla shit,
Yeah, like you guys are just kind of going into this like ever-churning machine, which is the fear that you had when you wanted to take breaks for franchise fatigue. Like, once you start just constantly rolling from one game to another, they're definitely going to lose even more character between them. You know what I mean? It's just all going to bleed more and more into the same thing. So yes, dear God, please pause.
Yeah, but I agree with that. And stop making them like RPGs. We're done with that shit.
Jay, can we get an assassination simulator? Like, that'd be fucking cool, right?
All right, next question from Mr. One Subset. If 26 is elderly in gaming, I'm a super senior. He's talking about this joke that was going on Twitter. This girl was like, "Hey, do you know any elderly gamers over 26?" Like, what the fuck? You know?
What are you, 9?
Yeah. So she goes, "Has anyone here ever played with a real life person that's over 60 years old?"
Huh.
Over 60.
I can't say I have.
How old is Torrance?
No.
Wait,
How old is Tor?
wait.
Uncle plays.
Manny, our Uncle Richard, he plays Call
Yeah,
of Duty.
our uncle.
And he's in his 70s.
Okay, so
And
there
he's
you
on the
go.
PlayStation. And he
Oh, yeah,
plays Call of Duty.
I mean, like, he's no joke. Like, he hits every single, like, new game that comes out.
Yeah,
Like,
he
from
likes-
Metal
he
Gear
likes-
or any of that stuff. It's funny because we absolutely don't talk any gaming with him,
No,
which is
no.
hilarious.
I tried. I've sent messages. I don't even know if he has a headset. But I'll see him pop up and he's playing.
No.
So,
Yeah. He does
That's
it.
cool.
uh-huh.
You don't hear about that many.
But then
studios.
again, he served in the military his entire life.
Yeah, so,
From,
yeah, he loves...
18 all the way till retirement. So that's ingrained in him.
Yeah, he was posted at the Berlin Wall when it was still up.
Shoot, he was
Yeah.
there, Afghanistan, when all that happened, the first invasion over there. I mean, he's seen a lot.
Respect to him, you know. Right? Anybody else play with a over 60 gamer? You know that's gonna be us, right? We're gonna be those guys.
We're gonna be those
Well,
guys.
I'm getting close, man. I'm getting close.
Yeah, Adam's
Yeah.
2 years from now, you know.
Adam's birthday's coming up real soon, man.
August 4th, I'll be 45.
Damn.
45, and I've been playing since the 2600. The Atari 2600 was the first one I got.
45. You're not
Yep.
that much older than me, then. All right. I thought you were like 5 years older than me for some reason. You know.
But how old
Who's the oldest guy on Throwdown? Is it you or Chris?
It's probably Chris.
Because Chris is like 46, right? You
Maybe.
gotta ask him. Yeah.
I mean, he already hit 40 when we were in our like 30s or anything.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I know he's not that much. Him and our other friend are all around the same age.
Yeah. Adam and Chris are definitely the elder statesmen of the Throwdowns. Then me and Manny come after that. Brett's right behind us, and then Carlos and Brian are like kind of equal, themselves. Brian's the youngest one, though. I know that. And Riku, he's younger than Brian, I think.
Riku is not as young as people think. I think Riku is closer to. I think he's around me and Brian.
He's early 20s because
No,
Early 20s.
We met Riku like
10
years ago.
But I feel like it was just a few years ago that he enlisted in the military and they accepted him. And isn't there a cutoff after like 25 or something like that?
Yeah, he was like 26 or something at that point. Yeah. All right. Interesting.
I was like, he's in his early 20s. What did we meet him when he was like
We
12?
met him when he was 12, you know.
Oh, he could have been in his early 20s when we met him. Well, at least when I met him. So maybe now, because COVID's been more 3 years. So.
Bob hits. He goes, "How does Adam do it? Is it Dutch that keeps him looking young?" I'll tell you what it is. He's Hispanic. I'm 42. I don't look 42. It's just how it is.
It's the Asian Pro Cream.
I mean, if it wasn't for all the gray in my beard, I mean, I guess I look young, right?
Yeah, no, you look young too. Not now. We don't see you.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, you don't see me?
Nope.
What do you mean? I'm on screen.
No, you're not. The camera's off.
I see him.
I see him.
Not on my end. Oh shit. We're being
see.
denied
I see him.
Manny.
I see Manny with the red
But
shirt.
What's that?
It's the Hispanicness.
How about
That's
now?
what it is. Nothing.
But
What? Discord.
I told you, my kids want me to grow my hair back, right?
Like Jesus,
Like
right?
Jesus. So let's see how much I got now. So we see.
They want you to be the mind freak.
Oh shit.
Oh, that's gonna take a while.
It's gonna take some time, but maybe by December.
Yeah, we eat plátanos, man. It keeps us young. Yeah. No, but in the office all the time, we're like, "How old are you, Tony?" I'm like, "How old do you think I'm?" Like, "You're like 30, right?" I'm like, "I wish." Although that's kind of bullshit. I was not as healthy when I was 30 as I am now. So getting older is better in that case. take better care of yourself.
Well, it sort of forces you because
forces you, right?
If you don't do it, shit falls apart faster.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Now if something bad happens, I'm like, oh, I better take care of this shit. Before it's like, fuck it, man, walk it off. Like a man. Fuck that.
Like, you gotta drink water. I'm like, water got no flavor. They're like, yo, you gotta keep drinking.
Water's got no flavor. They got flavored water now, dude.
No, that's what he's like. Yeah,
Adam's like, let's go.
My wife puts lime in it and stuff. She's like,
PSA for the for the young bloods out there. Turns out whenever you walk something off in your 20s, it just catches you in your 30s. You didn't actually walk it off. You just walked away from it for a while. It's like a fucking zombie. 10 years later, all of a sudden you're like, my knee went out. What the fuck?
My back went out.
Brett, you walked it off, right? But then you slowed down. But that thing kept going at the same pace. And then it caught you.
It's funny. A weird thing happened to me. The opposite. So, like, years ago, I used to do squats for exercise, and one time I pulled. It was like I was like 16. I pulled the wrong way, and I had knee problems ever since. Like bending down, all kinds of stuff. I took a fall when I first moved to Pennsylvania. Fell on my knee and everything, and somehow I guess it fixed whatever was wrong. So I've been having this knee problem for most of my life. I take this one fucking fall and then boop, it's gone. Like I don't even feel I can bend down and do everything. Whatever was wrong.
That's how we used to fix it. That's how we used to fix electronics back in the day. Just fucking hit it until it works, Remember with the TV fucked up, you keep hitting it, You don't do that shit with modern fucking electronics, man. It's like fuck.
Flash is gonna break.
You tap it the wrong way, your screen goes blank.
You look at it funny, that shit'll fuck up.
Exactly.
But that's how.
Actually, man, I had that happen too. I had my jaw broken and healed up all kinds of fucked up, and then I had it broken again. And
isn't that how they fix bones though? They gotta break them and shit, Oh,
I didn't go to the hospital. The first time I was in a punk rock club, and I got into a fist fight with a Nazi, and he kicked me in the face with a steel-toed boot. The second one was I got into a car accident, and the airbag came out and like hit me and like basically knocked me senseless. And so they took me to the hospital and were checking me for like brain damage and neck injury, and never thought to figure out like if the reason I was babbling was like maybe because my jaw was broken. And so they just kind of fucking sent me home. Years later, I go to the dentist because I'm like, I need a bite guard or something like that. I'm not sure why he was pissed. I'm assuming a liability thing. He comes in because I told him, I was like, no major anything like that. No. And he comes back and like slaps an X-ray back on the wall behind him without even looking. He's like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, what? He's like, he said something like, you have 2 major incidents and over 42 or maybe 24 hairline fractures, something like that. And I was like, oh, that would explain, like, yeah, my jaw would get caught. I'd have to pop it back out. It hurt like fuck for a few days and then be fine again. So, yeah, car accident.
Oh, man.
Broke my fucking jaw. Made it better.
Stories. All right, man. Move on. Where are we right now? Villa Kyle. What's going on, brother? He goes, some in the media have gone hands-on with the new Saints Row. Have any of you gotten to play it? I need to be very careful with my answer here, but we were invited. My site was invited, but we were unable to send anyone. So no, but I've known about this event for about a month now. But Adam, have you? I don't know if anybody on Coalition went to check it out or not.
No. Same thing. We're on the list to do it. I don't know who's going to do it.
It already happened. It already happened.
No. I mean, when it comes to review time.
Oh yeah, we'll review it too. But I'm talking about there was an event.
There was an event. No.
Yeah, the event happened. I think it was about 2 weeks ago, but the embargo lifted now. But I have known about it, but my team wasn't able to send anybody. So unfortunately, no hands-on impressions for you.
What was the general consensus? People liked it? Or?
I have no idea. It happened this weekend, and I kind of check out of Twitter on the weekend, so I don't know. And also, Twitter was also dominated by another conversation that we talked about on Thursday, the Last of Us drama. So I don't know. I don't know if people liked it or not.
I haven't seen it.
Let us know in the chat. What did people think of the game?
Yo, man, that game is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Another one from Villa Kyle. What are the chances of the Activision deal going through before the release of the new Call of Duty? Would Modern Warfare 2 be offered at launch on Xbox Game Pass? could that shift the conversation about Xbox not having AAA games this year? We
It's
don't know.
gonna-
We don't know.
no,
We don't know.
But either way, they said all their games are going to be on there anyway. So it may not at launch, but eventually it will be. So let's say if it doesn't make the November release, then it. But then again, if they know it's already in motion, they technically could just flip the bill for that 1 month or whatever time and be like, guess what? Because I mean, look, we see third party games come day one. Almost every WB game is a third party, and it comes day one. Back for Blood and all the other ones in Mortal Kombat.
Is Batman going to be?
That don't. Well, they haven't said that. I can't say.
Ain't he dead?
But that's what I'm saying. If
I say he
well, we
ain't.
also know Warzone is free, so they want that Warzone, that new map. So if that version comes out, then that'll be free for everybody, regardless. But
It's a hypothetical, so we don't know. Because
anything's
the
possible.
rumor is, again, rumor, that Microsoft wants to push this deal to have it happen this year. So that's why he's asking, like, hey, could we possibly see Call of Duty on Game Pass this year? I don't know.
Think about, all right, let's say if it can't, right? But they want to pay to have it bumped up. Who are they paying? Because they're already in the person. It's going to them, so they can. Even if they say, "All right, we'll pay it just to have it exclusive," so it's not exclusive, but at least part of Game Pass.
But they don't have to pay anyone. It's their game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So then, what's stopping them from doing
Nothing.
I
Absolutely
think
nothing.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Again, hypothetically speaking, if the deal happens this year, there's absolutely nothing stopping them from doing that.
And if it's not, they can just split the bill and they get the money back next year when it's all in house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, we'll give you $10 million to put this on Game Pass day one. Just leave it in the bag. Leave it in the bag.
By the time that check clears, they'll own the company.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so we'll have to see. We don't know.
I think a lot of this contractual stuff with the game might have been settled a while back. So who knows when they could actually get it on Game Pass? But I'll guarantee something.
It's coming to Game Pass though eventually.
It's coming to Game Pass eventually, and by next year, it's going to be day and date. The next Call of Duty,
Oh yeah.
which is going to be huge. It's probably the biggest event in Game Pass history.
Yeah. Hey, Carlos, will it be exclusive?
Oh no, it'll be on Play.
No.
It'll be on
It
PlayStation.
can't be exclusive. They already said.
Yeah, no, they already
it's not.
said. Although I wouldn't be surprised if some like a season pass is exclusive. Right? They've
They
done it
could
with
do that.
PlayStation
Yeah,
and
it could
Xbox.
be.
Oh, they
So
can
that's what I
easily do
predict.
that.
Yep.
The battle passes,
Yep.
all the battle passes could be exclusive.
That's what I think. So that's what I think is happening. The game won't be exclusive, but the battle pass will be, which will make people go, "Fuck, I'll get that on." Remember what happened when PlayStation went down 2011? A lot of dudes bought Xboxes just for
there's two
Call of
things.
Duty.
There's two things that could happen.
Those duty heads, man. I'm telling you.
Richard,
But there's two things that could happen. One, that with the exclusive. Two, of course, Game Pass is going to be on it, so you don't have to buy it. And three, make that three things. I just thought of something else. They could have it early. So they could say, hey, it's going to be on here and here, but you get 2 weeks early access through Game Pass.
Motherfuckers will be buying them Xboxes.
Yeah.
those are
They
definitely
that
mega.
crack like, Call of Duty, give me that shit right now. I'm telling you, like, fuck. Those duty heads, man. I'm telling you.
So you saying I have to pay $70 on my PlayStation, or I can get it for $15 a month on Xbox.
Yeah, come on.
And
now.
that's where fucking Xbox lays the fucking hammer.
I can't wait to see that, man. It's gonna be crazy. You mean I get it for $70 or for effectively for free? Excuse
For
me?
free on my TV.
All right, man. Moving on. Tumeke, who's been joining us tonight in the chat. By the way, Tumeke, forgive me, I changed your question around a little bit because he was asking us what the most important IPs were from Xbox and PlayStation. He didn't want us to say Nintendo, but we're going to say Nintendo anyway,
Oh.
So the question is, what is Xbox's, Sony's, and Nintendo's most important IP at the moment? So let's go down each of them, Xbox.
It's easy. That's easy. It's the one that's generating. It's easy. It's the one that's generating revenue right now. It's the one that has expansions that's active right now, and that's Forza Horizon.
I was going to say Minecraft.
Yeah, I was gonna say Minecraft too.
Minecraft, that could be up there, but the one that they're really focusing on for the masses is the whole thing with the Hot Wheels deal, with those tracks. Like, at least on the Xbox. When I boot up,
but you think that's their most important one at the moment?
I think that's the one they're pushing. I think they feel that the Minecraft audience, the Minecraft audience, is just going to jump on it regardless because they're there.
Yeah, Bob hits exactly. It ain't Halo.
No,
it ain't Halo. It ain't Halo.
Wait, are we asking right now what is their most important franchise?
Yes, at the moment.
Yeah, right now.
First party franchise.
Yeah, I mean, what is it, Call of Duty next year?
Starfield's not out right now.
No,
it's not a franchise.
Yeah, it's what's making money right now.
Yeah, we're talking about right now at the moment.
But it also has to be a franchise, right? That's how I understand.
Or single IP. It could be that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if we're talking monetarily, if we're talking monetarily, no. But like Xbox, like Microsoft right now, they're kind of in their hype build phase. That's the game that's keeping them relevant right now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Starfield is the IP that's gonna.
Yeah, Blitz that IP, so that works. Yeah, that works.
So Starfield can put Microsoft first party in the map, unlike any other game they've released the last couple of years. So yeah, Starfield is probably one of the most significant.
You know what? I'm gonna allow it, even though the game's not up, because it actually probably is. Because Halo was the most important one, but we saw how that happened. So I think Starfield is the one that's gonna kind of make or break Xbox at this point.
Until Call of Duty comes in.
Call of Duty, forget about it.
Isn't
that crazy? That's going to be a fucking Xbox. Think about it. That's an Xbox franchise now. That is crazy.
That is going to be crazy.
Okay, so we got Microsoft. Let's go down to the next one. Sony. What is their most important franchise at the moment? Oh, I hate the answer to this.
Easy. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Oh,
you're gonna like.
Please tell me a different answer because I can't think of anything else right now.
Spider-Man. It's got a movie. It's got a huge blockbuster movie that's successful as well.
Yeah,
so
think
about it.
Just came out.
The PC version's coming. Yeah, it's coming.
I just saw it out. Like people.
No, it's coming out August 12th, I believe.
I mean, he's right. You think PlayStation. You think Spider-Man's one of the first things that pops to your mind.
Let's go with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't want it to be Last of Us.
Yeah, fuck that shit. And Nintendo, I guess Zelda, right? Breath of the Wild 2?
Pokemon?
Yeah, it's probably Pokemon. You're right. It's always Pokemon. That's like perennial,
Yeah. I mean, I would have said Mario.
But he ain't got no
a couple of decades ago. Yeah. They don't, they hardly release Mario games anymore.
Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario. Yeah, well, that is true. The little spin-offs. Yeah.
Pokemon's always a perennial. All right, that was good. That was a good question. I like that. All right, next question. Okay, this is an interesting one. I'm gonna have to read this a little slow, and to make it, if we don't answer the question correctly, maybe you could help us out here. Would you rather have any currently announced Marvel game? Think of Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, Midnight Suns, or your dream anime related game created by any developer of your choice. Other than Dragon Ball, good anime games are pretty few and far between. Would love an action adventure Cowboy Bebop game. That'd be cool. So I guess you're asking, what would we rather have? Our favorite developer make a really awesome superhero game or a really awesome anime game? Is that what you're asking?
No.
I'm confused here.
He's asking, would you rather have, for example, the sequels to games that we already know, like Spider-Man 2? It's like, oh, we already know it's announced. Like, do we rather have that right now, or would we rather have, an anime game of our choosing being developed by a developer of our choosing?
Oh, well, you already know my stance on anime games, so give me Spider-Man 2.
I would like the team behind Yakuza to do Cowboy Bebop, to do like a dragon.
That would be awesome.
That'd be interesting. I wonder how that would work.
Love that. I would love it.
I want a Cowboy Bebop game.
Mm-hmm.
Made by who, Brett?
Fuck. I mean,
any
developer? I really have to think about that for a second.
I would have said this answer maybe in the past because it would have been a popular one, but I feel like we kind of gotten that game in some kind of in a sense. But Berserk made by From Software would have been a good idea. But Elden Ring.
Yeah, I was about to say we already have that. It's called Souls games.
Yeah, it's called the Souls games. But I I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the question simply is what's currently announced Marvel versus Dream Anime? Yeah. Give me Spider-Man 2. I don't care for anime games.
I'd rather have the Dream anime, even because think about it. With the reason why we hate anime games is because they're just they're shoe-in games, and it's like, hey Bandai, give this to the C team, because we need a game real quick. So when there's a game like that, like Dragon Ball Fighters, like that gets made by a good team and has the time and effort, it can be a good game. So I'd rather have that because if I don't get Spider-Man 2, even though I'm really looking forward to it, I still wouldn't lose much sleep because I still got Spider-Man and Miles Morales. So I'd rather have like let's say Bethesda makes a One Piece game or something like that. Like it would be interesting.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? All right. Moving on here. Chackzilla. Oh, the first of 2 Steam Deck related questions, people.
Dun dun dun! Time to pull out your decks.
All right. His question is: what are the top modding apps on Steam Deck? What are the general quote unquote must-haves? I received mine a few weeks ago. Been waiting to explore that side. Great effort and a significant upgrade from the Switch. Out of this for you, man.
Yeah, man. I've been messing with it all day for past, and then not even past. Oh, it's a lot of Emu Deck. First, get Emu Deck. Go to the website, you get that, but it's not. It needs some other things, and you can get them in the Discovery. If you go in Discovery, you'll find Ryu Jinx, and that is an emulator for Switch, so you can do the Switch. Also, there are the Dolphin, which is for all the Wii and GameCube and all those.
By the way, Throwdown does not endorse piracy. Just getting that
No. But these are emulators. This is all. I'm not saying where you get the games. Just saying these are the emulators. That's there. You can just get those.
This is just here for educational purposes.
Yeah, there
Exactly,
you go. Yeah.
exactly. But it's all there on the deck. You don't have to go to random websites or anything. You just go into the Discovery section for the apps. There's actually a section that says emulator. Or is it emulations? One or the other, but you'll see it's there, and they're all listed, and they tell you this is for the Dreamcast. There's even one for Xbox 360. There's, you go through them, you install them, you launch them once. You have to launch them because for some reason some of the other sections don't see it, but you launch them once. Make sure you put wherever you got your ROMs, put them on your micro SD card, and then there you go. So those are the must-haves right there. Just get Emu Deck because that'll be the nice interface for all of the other ones. But you can go through the emulation station through the Discovery and then find all those emulators. That's amazing.
Are there any other apps outside of emulation that you think are must-haves?
Do you have Game Pass? Does he have Game Pass? If he does, then it's Microsoft Edge. Because if you go on Microsoft's official site, they actually have it listed step-by-step of how to, because they gave support for Edge on the Steam Deck, meaning that it sees the controls, right? And that way you can sign into Game Pass. There are some commands that you have to put in, so that's here or there. There's not too much of it, but once you get that done, it saves. And yeah, Microsoft Edge, you can just open that up and play Game Pass, play all your Game Pass games. So
Nice.
That's an app.
There you go. Good stuff, man. All right. This next question is from, who is this, man? Eurocar9? Who is this guy? So he just wanted to know, now that everybody on Throwdown that wanted a Steam Deck, who wanted a Steam Deck, has a Steam Deck, what do we think?
Fucking mind-blowing,
It's magic. I've been saying
it's
magic.
Man. We played for those. What was it? It was Friday night.
Turtles. Yeah.
Yeah, Turtles. We played Turtles. We ran through it. We beat it. We did the audio chat and everything through the deck itself. We only had some hiccups of people dropping here or there, but then was easily able to jump back in. I've been playing God of War on it. Playing Madden 22. Madden. It's just crazy. Like we've never had, not even on the Switch or anything. There's no Madden. We had some bullshit footballs like the Mutant League and stuff, but no real football. That's amazing. Street Fighter 5, playing Street Fighter 5 on it. Not a downgraded version. Like we had 4 on the 3DS, and that was it. We never got 4 on the Switch, which makes no sense if you could have it running on the 3DS. And so it's amazing. It's an amazing device. I'm so happy with it. It's just everything it can do, and then with all the other things that it can do alongside, right out the box. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Hey, Brett, tell the people the story you told me right before the show about Steam Deck. The way what you did last night or tonight with it.
Oh, for like 3-4 hours before I jumped on the podcast, I was just chilling out playing Valheim with my buddy on Steam, and it was amazing. Like, I got done, and I'm like, I don't feel fatigued. Like, I don't feel screen fatigue. My shoulders and my neck aren't sore. Like, it's weird to me how ergonomically designed it is. It's just a fantastic experience that doesn't wear you down. It
thumbsticks. The thumbsticks and the hand placement, it feels great. You don't get the cramp like on Switch. I would get this cramp.
Yeah, and it's wild because like when you look at it, like, you know, not touching, look at it, you're like, this thing's gonna be fucking uncomfortable. The buttons are all off, like the beat button looks like it's dropping off the side of the console. But when you play, when you hold it, you're like, holy shit, because it looks big, right? But it doesn't even, it feels light, you know, like you don't even feel it. And even like I was saying, like the way where the heat vents are, they're far enough away from your hands, so you don't feel it overheating. You know, and
you'll
like
hear it if you don't have a headset.
Hear it. Oh yeah, you'll hear that shit. You know, and like Brett said, we played that game for like a good 2.5 hours, comfortable as fuck. You know, battery went down to about 40%, generally speaking. You know, not bad at all, man.
And I at the time I used a USB-C to HDMI, so I connected to my TV. It was just a generic one that I had, and it picked up right away, and it worked. So I didn't need anything special. You don't need a special dock if you have access to one of those converters. Just plug it in, and you should be good to go.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, what's your thoughts on the Steam Decks?
I think it's really great. I'm surprised at how much that I love this thing. It's just, again, just to go off what you guys said, it just fits in your hand extremely well. Like, I have no idea how long they spent like getting the feel just right, but it feels like they spent so much time just getting like that nice, comfortable fit just in the palm of your hand.
I could imagine a focus group, Brian, of like different people, height, sizes, shapes, hands, everything. I was like, right, you hold it, you hold it, you hold it. You hold it.
We must have gone through like just so many different ones and said, okay, let's do this, let's try that, and then eventually they just nailed it with this. So it's great. And I feel like the one thing that everyone does not talk about is it comes with a free case.
Yeah, it comes with a free case. It's crazy.
Yeah,
like, I don't know why, but I think in like this current age where like you don't get phones with chargers because Apple, it just feels weird. It's like you get a free case with the thing. It's like, wait, it comes with a free case? Like what? Like these things are usually like $20-$30, maybe more, and it's like it's just free. It's in there. You don't even notice it.
Not even a cheap one at that. It's really sturdy.
It's a hard issue. Yeah, I had someone ask me. I was like, "Oh, you already got a case for it?" I'm like, "It came with it."
It came with it.
It's unheard of nowadays. So.
Yeah, the value, man. And again, you know, you don't have to go like, "Oh, I gotta go buy games for it." Your games are already there. Your Steam games are just there. You know. Oh, so good, so good.
I mean, also the crossplay, like just the being able to jump from your PC to your Steam Deck and back.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's not things that are new necessarily in terms of concept. We've had a lot of these features promised to us for years. It's just that they've never actually worked until now.
Yeah. Or worked this well, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, or worked seamlessly. If you can just be like, oh, well, yeah, I'm just going to go pop that on my PC. Steam has cloud uploads, so you can do automate your cloud uploads and downloads and just pick up, play a game, pick it up on your Steam and then Steam Deck, and then walk out the fucking door with it. It's and I was telling Tony too, like this thing is like features that none of us have really even dug into yet. Like the Steam Link function, like the fact that you can power a crazy game on your high-end PC and then run it, link it through the Steam Deck. So you can be playing on the Steam Deck with the horsepower of your desktop.
Yeah. Oh, so dope. So
I like one feature I like is, and it piggybacks what Brett mentioned with the whole saves and synchronization stuff. I like how you can play a game, just put it on standby mode. You press the button once, the power button once, and you leave it for an hour, 2 hours, days, however long. You press the button back up, and it synchronizes before it even starts.
Yeah.
So it makes sure there wasn't like an alteration on the save file for the game. So really good, man. I'm really enjoying this, and yeah, like these guys mentioned, we played titles on the other day, and was it? What?
Oh damn! What the fuck? Adam,
What happened?
Adam dropped his Steam Deck.
I don't know what that.
Shit.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So hopefully another story is that it's durable.
Right. Shit. You know.
But yeah,
My
man.
Steam Deck. Anyway, yeah, go on.
And there's other stuff that I can talk about, but I rather not talk about it for various reasons.
Excuse me.
But the guy.
You don't want Nintendo to knock on your door?
Yeah, I'd rather have Gabe Newell knock on my door.
Can I say that?
Kimishima,
Monkey Majima, no.
Can I say, along with the free case, it also comes with a peg leg and a parrot?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I was I sent some pictures, and yeah, man. Pretty.
What's
You sent
Listen, all I'm gonna
pics?
say is to that it's the
whoa.
Nintendo Switch for adults. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
So Carlos, you sent some deck pics.
Oh, I sent a lot of deck pics.
Oh man. All right, good stuff. Moving on here. Mob Hits, who's been joining us tonight, got a couple questions here. So first one is, with recent reports that Series X and S are doing well in Japan and are also picking up steam in Europe, can Microsoft have what it takes to continue this momentum and crawl out of the underdog spot? I don't know if those will be enough to help them become number one or even number two, but it doesn't hurt, Doesn't hurt.
Buying Activision definitely doesn't hurt.
Or, especially when Call of Duty comes. Oh. So it's definitely gonna help. It's gonna help, but I don't know if because again, Japan is a small market. Europe is a bigger market than Japan, but not as big as America. But that could help too.
I mean, here's the thing: it's been selling pretty well here, and
it has been, yeah.
Lack of stock has throttled one console from being able to get a real huge leap on the other. And there are definitely more PlayStations in the wild, but it's not as one-sided as it's been. That's not because the market or consumers. That's almost definitely because of stock shortage. But the interesting thing is, we haven't really taken off yet, and we're still fairly neck and neck. So I don't think that they're going to make it out of the underdog position. I don't think they're going to take number one, but I feel like they're staged to be relevant again.
Yeah, I agree with that. Good stuff. All right, next question. I feel like we've answered this before, but this is a question that is probably good answering every 6 months or so. Are there any innovations left in gaming?
Yeah, we just haven't thought of them yet.
Yeah, that's my answer. That's my answer. Yeah, because that's true. Yeah. So not really much to add about that.
Well, Adam knows one.
The Steam Deck.
No, the
bodysuit.
The bodysuit.
Gotta get that bodysuit.
Yeah. So come back to us in 6 months. Maybe there'll actually be innovations by then.
Innovation.
All right.
Go ahead. VR has taken a turn that I did not necessarily expect. Like, it did not hitch. It kind of went the public zeitgeist of yeah, okay, it's a thing. But I'm seeing a lot of popular, I'm seeing more people into VR than I am classic gaming or indie gaming.
Really?
I'm seeing, and I'm always shocked about it too. A lot of my tattoo clients too. And some of them aren't even hardcore gamers. But they'll invest in a Rift or something like that, and that's all they fucking talk about.
Interesting.
So it's definitely an active market. It's not heavy hitting, but it's doing more than I anticipated. There's a lot of hardcore hobbyists in it now. So it's doing stuff and it's evolving, and it kind of makes me wonder what our next iteration of this is going to be. Because I know Sony's already patented the PSVR 2, so
they've announced it already. Not patented, they already announced it. They showed it and everything, yeah.
That's right. So we already know that VR is going to be coming to a more mainline. It's becoming a more accessible stage front. I don't know of a better way to put that. It's going to become a little bit more mainstream, and I'll be really interested that the PS5 can actually run it, because the PS4 was really struggling for that shit. So if they've made really good innovations on it, they might be staging themselves well to kind of make this a thing.
Yeah, VR is interesting because it didn't blow up super successfully, but it's good enough that it has stuck around and is successful within its own right. So we get that, conversations that even we had about VR going away. I don't think that's really relevant. It's not going to go away. People are enjoying it. So yeah, I guess we'll keep seeing companies innovate on it. All right, moving on. Okay, last two questions are both sponsored by Mr. Romudeath, very generous fellow. So we got a couple extra questions here. So the first one here is from Mob Hits. Where do you guys, the panel, rank yourselves as gamers? Interesting question.
Where do we rank ourselves as gamers, huh?
Adam's number one. I don't care what anyone says.
Adam's the number one gamer. Oh yeah, he is the number one.
He's definitely the more hardcore gamer, and out of us on the show. That would have been held by Tony, but now since he's industry now, that don't work no more.
Yeah, that's true. Because I was thinking about this question. I consider myself more of a seasoned veteran. I've been around for many decades. I've seen gaming evolve, but have kind of taken a back seat, and I'm really watching more from the sidelines. But I have been in this industry for a very long time, and just into gaming for my life. So I consider myself a veteran.
Chris is up there also. It's funny because the two oldest members of Throwdown are probably the ones that play the most.
Yeah.
Out of all of us. The ones with kids too.
The ones with kids are the ones that play the most. I was like,
Well, I mean, and there's a combination, and probably what your men's gonna say. I mean, we're not going out like that, so we're home. So the kids, we're not watching them all. They're at an age where they're doing their own thing. Kids reading, the other one's playing game, watching a show, or coloring or something. So then I jump on here. You don't have to watch them like babies. When they're babies, yeah, you can't.
Here's the thing. If you would have asked us this question 3 years ago, I would have had a different answer. I would have said I'm a hardcore gamer. But this generation has been so whack, no games. It's kind of made me move to other things because there's really nothing coming out that's interesting me. You know me, I like my AAA games. We're not really getting those. I'm like, let me do some other stuff instead.
I think I would place myself last. Out of everyone here,
like Carlos, remember how I told you gaming was my main hobby? It's not anymore. Not really.
Remember, how crazy that shit is. Like, talking back in the day about that stuff.
Exactly. Now it's like, you're probably you are dead last. You barely play any games.
Oh, fuck you.
Tell me I'm wrong, though. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. I'm definitely. I feel like Manny plays. I think maybe plays around the same amount that I do, but Manny kind of he goes deep into his games.
Every game he plays, he gets a platinum on.
I mean, out every game.
You just got a platinum in Stray.
I got the platinum in Stray, but I feel like the one I didn't do it for to Trek to Yomi. I feel like I get out of the game as much as I can get out of the game, or I'm willing to get out of the game. That's the way I usually sort of play it. It's not a lot as of now, but it's usually. But then again, it's also sort of how I've always sort of played game. It's always been sort of choice cuts. It's never been everything. It's always been sort of like, okay, and then I played that for a certain amount of time. But granted, like in the last maybe 2, 3 years, just so much of life had been getting in the way that I barely had anything to. Anything I could play. I mean, come on, I just only recently finished Guardians of the Galaxy, and I bought that last year.
Yeah, Blitz goes, I'm just a gamer, not a MP monster or have a huge amount of platinum trophies. I just love gaming in all its forms and have been playing practically my entire life to this point and don't see me stopping. There you go, man. Real gamer, you know? True gamer, true gamer.
Okay, ma.
All right, what about the rest of you guys? Where do you rank yourselves as in the gaming spectrum? I'm going to go to Brian on this one.
I think they want to know like our rankings within the Throwdown crew, right? That's how
Is
I
that what we're
understood the
doing,
question.
mob hits? I don't know because I didn't even think about it. I was like, yeah, I'm a veteran. That's what I consider myself. You know.
Let me reread the question real quick.
Okay, while Carlos does that, I'd say I'm kind of like
Read the unedited one, Carlos. Maybe that'll help.
Cool.
I'm kind of like a crackhead gamer in that they are no. You know why?
No, I get
I
it.
know
I
exactly.
get
That's
it.
why I'm laughing. I know exactly what we're talking about. Yeah.
It's like every now and then I'll find something that'll just hook me, and then I'll be stuck on that like crack. Hence the term. So again, like it was Warframe with like X thousand hours. Now it's Monster Hunter. I'm about to crack 700 hours on that.
Oh,
I know. I need to stop. So yeah, it's just kind of like I'll find my crack addiction. I'll be there for like half a year or something, and then I'll get off that and get some stuff done. You know,
how many hours you got in Elite Dangerous?
I have not checked, but I think it was like 400, 300 hours, give or take.
That is crazy.
Which game was it, Brian? The one right before that one?
Monster Hunter World.
Oh, man, you should have gone on it earlier, man. We would have played so many hours, man.
Well, if the rumored next one is coming out, then we definitely shall.
Paradise, let's fucking go. Day one, PS5, Xbox Series X, man. Let's go.
But yeah, it's just I'll be on something like crack, and then I'll hop off, get some platinums, then go back to that crack on something else. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Brian, I want you to respond to this one. Bliss goes, I wish I could commit like Brian. It would be a cheaper hobby. But Brian, you actually don't spend a lot on games, do you?
No. I've actually spent so little this year on games. It's weird. I think like the most amount of games I bought was like around 2015, 2014. It's like that was like the peak, and then since then it's just kind of gone downhill because again, when you have that many games to play, you just kind of get, it's not fatigue, it's paralysis. You just don't know what to play. And hence you spend your time just like thinking, I should play this, I should play that, but I want to play this and that. And then your mind just goes to, oh, fuck it, I'll just play some Monster Hunter.
Yeah. Ooh, Brian, what if Monster Hunter $70? Jay Shep wants to know.
I'll try and find some way to get it on some sort of deal or some sort of sale because I'll like try and find like some PSN cards at like 5% off or something.
Yeah.
By the way, but what Blitz said, he actually agreed with your premise. Like he initially agreed with it. He said if he played like Brian, his hobby would be much cheaper.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because if Brian only plays like one or two games and just a year and he just commits to that, you know, yeah, that'd be a lot cheaper, you know.
I think like I could play quite a lot. I actually don't have it. I actually have like a list of games that I played that came out this year. So when we do our Game of the Year stuff, I actually have stuff to say for a change. I think I played like 4 or 5 games that came out this year so far.
That's all I've played this year because
I think I've only played 4. I think.
Wow, this year's Game of the Year is going to be bad for Throwdown, man. Because there's only like 2 more games I'm looking forward to playing this year: God of War and Callisto. I think that's it. Ooh, this is a bad year, you know.
And Callisto comes out in December, so depending on when the Game of the Year awards is
for us, you know. Our Game of the Year awards is like December 18th ish. You know?
Yeah, but are we gonna finish? Are we gonna finish Callisto by that time?
I'll finish that. If it's like Dead Space, you can finish that in a weekend. You know?
We'll see. Be interesting.
That's what I love about that. I could tell you exactly when our last episode of the year is going to be. Last episode of the year will be December 14th. December 15th, excuse me. For the Throwdown show, and then 18th for the question show, which will be an AMA. So get ready for that. The 15th and 18th December. Let's go. All right. All right. Anybody else? Where do you? Okay. So what are we doing? Rankings or what's going on?
It's a little bit ambiguous. It says, "Where do you guys, the panel, rank yourselves as gamers?"
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead, Brett.
No, I think that means amongst ourselves.
Yeah, that's how I interpret it as well.
Let's go with that then. So Adam's number 1. That's no question there. Chris number 2, right? I'm gonna go with Brian. Brian number 3. Brett number 4. Me number 5. Manny number 6. Carlos 7. All right, I think that's pretty easy.
That seems to work.
That seems that works.
Yeah.
There you go.
We are all in agreement.
Yes. All right, good stuff. And the last question, this one is extra from one subset. With many 343 Industries lead developers leaving to do their own passion projects or starting new studios, is Halo Infinite's future in jeopardy? It was already in jeopardy before that, bro. Shit. I think that game's done, to be honest.
I'm willing to bet that 343 and Microsoft aren't pretty happy with the money that it's probably generating. It did really good with numbers the day of when it came up, but I just haven't seen any traction, especially from the people that I follow. A lot of people were hyped up with this game, and it didn't really last past a week or two after it came out. And I mean, this type of game, since it's a free to play game, it's the type of game that people are supposed to be like the Destinies and Overwatches of the world, where people are just playing it constantly and making revenue off of those microtransactions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not. I've been wanting Microsoft to just move on from 343 and make them do avatars or something else, because they definitely shouldn't handle Halo anymore. Give it to the Doom team.
Yeah, right. Give it to it. Yeah, give it to anybody else, because 343 ain't doing it, man.
Give it to the Coalition. I'm pretty sure Coalition will do a good job. The Coalition
would do good, yeah. Oh, wait, now you got me thinking, what else is coming out this year?
Pokemon, God of War, Callisto. Yeah. Oh, The Last of Us Remake, Part 1.
Beat into the punch.
Wow.
I'm actually feeling like buying Stray now that Manny said he planned it.
Yeah, it's a sort of relaxing sort of game. I mean, I would definitely suggest it. The only things I would say is that a lot of people were having issues with the combat. I can see why they were having issues with the bit of combat that's in there.
I didn't even know there was combat. Interesting.
There is.
Manny, I have a question about that. Is the issue that the combat is bad or that combat exists in it? Because I've seen that Kotaku article, if you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, it's actually not very good. It's not very well implemented. Like, to be honest, your best bet is just to avoid all conflict. And in fact, you actually do get a platinum trophy for just running through. So they give you the ability to dispatch enemies, but to be honest, it's it has like a time, like not a time limit, but it overheats and then it becomes ineffective. So your best bet is to just run.
Yeah. Bayonetta 3, that's coming, but I don't want to play Switch anymore, man. Especially with the Steam Deck.
Yo, man, what are you talking about? You can play Bayonetta on the Steam Deck, just not 3.
Yeah, Bayonetta 3. Yeah.
Wow.
Or is it 4?
Yeah, well, there might be a way.
Yeah.
J-Shep, I am asking this like sincerely, because you said a lot of good games are coming. Why are people so down? Please tell me what's coming out this year. I want to know.
I want to know
what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind. Here's the thing. I know there's games. I know the Gotham games coming. I know there's other shit. I understand that. I'm just saying, for me, there's a lot of games I don't give a fuck about. I hope you get a ton of games that you enjoy, man. Truly, somebody needs to enjoy this fucking year.
Yeah, and I'm kind of leaning towards looking forward to playing Pokemon this year.
Fuck that, Blitz. He goes play that Switch. Fuck that shit.
I think Blitz is trolling.
Actually, you gotta be trolling. You gotta be trolling Switch. Get out of here with that bullshit.
Cowabunga, dude!
Let's get on Steam Deck. Let's go. We doing this again.
Steam Deck, boys.
What date is that?
August something, isn't it? That's also August. Ooh, give me that shit. See, something to be excited about, man.
So is that going to be a 6-player co-op, or is I forget how that works?
I don't know. I think it depends on the game. Yeah, it depends on the game.
Depends on the game.
Ah,
the
that's
arcade, because the arcade one has a 4-player. I don't know if the Nintendo one, the Super Nintendo, if it
August
had
30th.
one.
Let's fucking go.
You know.
Yeah, Cowabunga Collection's gonna be hype. But yeah, so let's see. Cowabunga. I'm talking about for myself. Cowabunga Collection, Callisto Protocol, and God of War. God of War. Fuck, man. That's the game right there, man, that I'm waiting for the most. Woo! And I know it's on PS4, I know, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Switch people are actually gonna eat this year. I mean, they got Splatoon 3, they got Bayonetta 3, they got fucking Pokemon. So for a lot of Switch people, they're gonna
Xenoblade.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
A lot of threes coming,
A lot of threes. Something Valve should take a hint. But yeah, I mean, like I'm with Tony. A lot of these games I'm not really looking forward to. I mean, Bayonetta 3 is kind of.
I need to play Bayonetta 2. I have Bayonetta 2. I just never got around to playing it. We'll see. I'm still waiting until next year to get playing 5. Slim Mighty Nerd, you're crazy.
Probably come.
Mario Rabbids 2. Yeah, I know. The Switch guys are eating good, but. Nah.
Oh, for Overwatch 2, a lot of people.
Overwatch.
I know Adam's waiting for that duty,
Called that duty.
On Switch? No.
Not on Switch. Not on Switch, just on,
on
your Steam Deck.
Oh, yeah. See, well, that's the whole thing now. I'm looking at like double dipping because, of course, got to get on the console. Dutchy needs his thing. But then also on the fucking to get those Steam Chivos. And you see those things are popping up. You go bling, bling, bling. And just to play it on the go. Like, I have some Call of Duties now I haven't loaded, but that's going to be... I haven't tried it. It must be amazing to play on the go. Because that's the other beautiful thing. Is that when you boot up Steam Deck, any of these games, you will see it at the bottom. It'll try to connect. It won't fail. It'll just try to connect to the Steam server to sync and stuff. And if it can, it's like, oh, it's all right. You could still play. It's not going to... One of those things where, you always have to be online, which is great.
Yeah, Jay Shep goes Live a Live. Is out. People have been talking a lot about that game.
Yeah, I saw that too.
What kind of game is Live a Live? Is it like action or is it turn based? If it's turn based, you have my attention. But,
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? At least for me, the Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core remake.
Does that drop
or remaster? I don't know what that is. Yeah, I think that is this year. I'm looking forward to that.
Turn-based, let's go. Oh, you guys got my attention now. By the way, is it Live a Live or Live Alive? I don't know. Or Live a Live. I don't know. Turn-based, though. And it's in that Octopath kind of 2D HD
right,
thing. What were you... Oh, hold on. I totally forgot about the game you're talking about, Carlos. I was thinking about
Crisis Core.
Crisis Core. You know what? I probably should play that because I've never played the original one.
I think you'll like it just for the story, even if you don't like the gameplay.
Yeah. Oh shit! I'm adding some games to play this year. This is good.
Whoa.
Also, for me, Hogwarts Legacy looked interesting. It's not, it's not something that
looks better than it should.
Yeah, it definitely does. I don't know how they're doing it because usually those type of games kind of look like they just shoot in. But if people rave about it, there's a lot of good review scores, a lot of hype, a lot of buzz. I might pick it up. We'll see. But just off the gate, I'm still holding my purchase.
Yeah. I didn't see who said this, but they said they play one game a month. That's how on a good year. That's how many I minimum trend to play. Usually I play about. During the really good days, it's about 24 games, which is 2 a month, right? But obviously that's been going down over the years because there's not much that interests me,
I got one for Brett.
Uh-oh.
Brett, Skull and Bones comes out November 8th.
Yeah.
Color me impressed.
Yeah.
That's a game I will be enjoying nowhere.
Okay. All right, man. I think we're done here. So, what do we have to plug?
Well, I was postponing this until this Sunday show, but I will be at C2E2 this coming was it August? And August the 5th, the weekend of the August the 5th, I will be there doing my thing. This is going to be the first C2E2 that I've gone to in 3 years, pretty much since the pandemic. So yeah, I'm going to be at well, I'll let you know what table I'll be at in the next show. But yes, I'll be there. So if you're going to be in the Chicago area, and if you're in or you're local or whatever, drop by my table and say what's up.
Hey, maybe you'll see Cicero out there, man. That'd be dope.
I mean, maybe I'll see some Cicero. I mean, he's still up in the cargo of the brook.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to talk about that. Adam, do you have anything to plug?
None yet. I mean, I plan on doing a lot of stuff for the coalition to do for the Steam Deck and some of the steps once I get everything mastered out. Don't want to give half-assed, steps, and then people hit me up in the comments. You don't know what you're talking about, bitch. I'm like, oh. So, but yeah, no, that's it. Just keep an eye out over at the coalition with a K.
Good stuff. I will be dropping a review, kind of review, kind of not, for Multiverses. The public beta is dropping on Tuesday.
We do.
What happened, Adam?
The Scooby-Doo? That's the one.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo, yeah, Superman, all those guys. So I'll be doing it because I literally was like, I need a game to review. I haven't reviewed a game in months. I'll take this game. Even though it's a Smash Brothers game, I don't care for those, but I'm like, I need something, So I'll be dropping that soon. Gotta have something. Gotta have
some.
I literally don't remember. Oh, no, the last game I reviewed was Sonic Origins, right? That was a little bit a while ago. And then before that, I think it was a long time ago. Not a lot of games this year, people. Not a lot of games. So I'll be dropping that probably on the embargo day because I played enough of the betas and shit, So yeah, that'll be that. So make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Join our Discord where the conversations and the rumors are always popping. Throwdown is on every podcast app on the planet. Throwdown Show, 2 words, Throwdown Show. Throwdown Show is also on the interwebs, throwdownshow.com. You can listen to the past episodes. And if you have been watching us on the YouTube and enjoyed the content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when premieres go live. Links to everything down below. Right. Once again, our show host Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Adam Vale.
Have a good week, people.
Brett Murdoch.
Deuces.
And Brian Manjoma.
Yes, Manny, I will agree that if people who have Steam Decks should be called deckheads, only if people without Steam Decks are called deckless.
There we go.
Nice. All right, people. We'll see you on Thursday. Later,
guys.
Peace.
This is